Intimacy is often described as the ultimate safe space, a sanctuary where two people lay down their guards and connect without masks. But when you are dealing with a narcissistic woman, this sanctuary is transformed into a boardroom, a stage, or even a battlefield. What you perceive as a moment of bonding as it is, from her perspective, a strategic maneuver designed to reinforce her position of power. We are going to peel back the layers of the unspoken patterns that occur behind closed doors. By looking at these behaviors for what they truly are, tools of psychological leverage, you can begin to understand why you felt so drained and disconnected. It is time to expose the hidden architecture of control that she has built within your most private moments. 1. Sex as a tool for reward and punishment. In a normal relationship, being close is something you share because you care about each other. But with a narcissistic woman, sex is just another thing she trades to get what she wants. Think of it like a vending machine. If you do exactly what she says, pay for her lifestyle, or tell her how amazing she is, all day, she rewards you with intimacy. She makes you feel like you've earned a prize for being a good boy. But the second you disagree with her or try to stand up for yourself, she shuts it down. She'll tell you she's too tired, or she'll just act disgusted by your touch. This isn't about her mood. It's a deliberate move to punish you. She wants you to feel desperate and hungry for her attention. By pulling back, she forces you to chase her, making you apologize for things you didn't even do just to get back in her good graces. She keeps you in a state of constant stress, wondering if today is a yes day or a no day. You start walking on eggshells, doing whatever it takes to avoid her cold shoulder. This isn't a partnership. It's a boss and an employee dynamic. She holds all the cards, and she uses your natural desire for her to keep you under her thumb. You aren't a lover to her. You are someone she manages through fear of rejection. Eventually, you realize you are performing for her like a circus animal. You do tricks, you stay quiet, and you follow her lead, all for the hope of a little bit of affection. It's an exhausting way to live. She loves the power it gives her to see you begging. To her, every time she says no to punish you, she feels like she's winning. It's a sick cycle that leaves you feeling small and powerless. This behavior is designed to break your spirit over time. She wants you to believe that your worth is tied to how well you serve her. If you aren't useful to her, she has no reason to be close to you. This transactional way of living ruins the trust in a relationship. You can't be yourself when you're always worried about being punished. It's not about intimacy anymore. It's about her having total control over your happiness. When you finally see this for what it is, the reward doesn't feel like a gift anymore. You start to see the manipulation behind every touch. You realize that she isn't giving you herself. She's giving you a bribe to keep you quiet and obedient. It's a fake version of closeness that only exists to keep the power balance in her favor. Once you stop playing her game, her biggest weapon loses its power over you. 2. The sexual explosion during love bombing. Remember how things started? It was like a movie. She was all over you, wanting you every second of the day. It felt like you'd finally found someone who was as crazy about you as you were about them. You probably thought you'd hit the jackpot, but you need to understand that this wasn't real attraction. It was a setup. She was love bombing you, using sex to build a trap that you wouldn't want to leave. She studied you like a book. She figured out what you liked, what your fantasies were, and she played that role perfectly. If you liked a certain vibe, she became that vibe. It felt like soulmate energy, but it was really just her mirroring you to get you hooked. She wanted to create a bond so strong and so intense that you'd be willing to overlook all the crazy behavior that was coming later. This early stage is all about building an addiction. Your brain gets flooded with feel-good chemicals every time you're with her. She makes you feel like a king in the bedroom so that you'll feel like a servant everywhere else. By the time the mask starts to slip and she starts being mean or dismissive, you're already too deep in. You keep thinking, if I just try harder, we can go back to how it was in the beginning. But that beginning was a lie. It was a performance she put on to capture you. The woman you fell for doesn't actually exist. She was just a reflection of what you wanted to see. She used that sexual explosion to bypass your logic. You saw red flags, but you ignored them because the physical connection was so amazing. That's exactly what she wanted. She used your own body against you to keep you blind. Think about how fast things moved. She probably pushed for intensity way sooner than a normal person would. This is because she needed to secure you before you realized who she really was. The sex wasn't about sharing a moment. It was about marking her territory. She wanted to make sure you felt like you could never find anyone else who could satisfy you the way she did. It's a very common tactic for keeping a guy trapped. Once she feels like she has you locked down, that version of her disappears. Suddenly, she isn't interested anymore. The soulmate is gone, and you're left with a stranger who treats you like a nuisance. You spend the rest of the relationship trying to win back a woman who was never real to begin with. It's a heartbreaking realization, but it's the only way to start healing. You were tricked by a professional actress who used intimacy as her script. 3. Coldness and cruelty after intimacy. One of the weirdest things about being with a narcissistic woman is what happens after the act is over. In a healthy relationship, that's when you cuddle, talk, or just feel a nice connection. But with her, it's like a light switch goes off. The second she's done, she's finished with you. She might roll over and go to sleep, jump up to check her phone, or even start a fight about something stupid. It's a total emotional shutdown. This happens because she doesn't actually care about you as a person. She lacks empathy, which means she can't feel the bond that you're feeling. To her, the act was just a physical release or a way to get validation for herself. Once she's got what she came for, you are just a person taking up space in her bed. She doesn't feel the need to be sweet or kind because the transaction is over. She's moving on to the next thing. This sudden coldness is a huge red flag. It shows that she wasn't with you emotionally at all. You might try to hug her or say something nice, and she'll act like you're being annoying or too needy. It makes you feel like a piece of trash that's been used and thrown away. This is her true self coming out. The passion she showed minutes ago was just a show. The coldness afterward is the reality of who she is. She uses this post-sex coldness to keep you in your place. It reminds you that she is the one in charge of the emotional temperature. If she wants to be distant, you have to deal with it. It's a way of saying, I don't owe you anything. This leaves you feeling incredibly lonely, even though you just did the most intimate thing people can do. You start to realize that you are completely alone in this relationship. Psychologically, she can't handle the vulnerability of a real connection. Being close to someone in a real way is scary for her because she has no real self. So she shuts it down immediately to regain her sense of power. By pushing you away right after being close, she proves to herself that she's still untouchable. She won't let you in, and she'll make sure you feel the pain of that rejection every single time. You might start to feel a sense of dread as things wind down, because you know the cold shoulder is coming. You stop looking forward to being close because you know how bad it's going to feel afterward. This is how she ruins intimacy for you. She turns something that should be healing into something that feels like a punishment. You end up feeling more disconnected after sex than you did before you started. 4. Fierce reaction and punishment when rejected. What happens when you aren't in the mood? Maybe you had a long day at work, or you're just not feeling it. In a normal world, your partner would say, "No problem," and give you a kiss. But with a narcissistic woman, a no from you is like a declaration of war. She doesn't see it as you being tired. She sees it as a direct attack on her ego. She thinks, "How dare he not want me?" And she will make you pay for that insult. Her reaction is usually explosive or deeply manipulative. She might start a massive fight out of nowhere, bringing up mistakes you made 3 years ago. Or she might go completely silent, refusing to look at you or speak to you for days. Some will even cry and act like you're being abusive just because you didn't want to be intimate. The goal is to make the price of saying no so high that you'll never do it again. This is a classic training behavior. She is teaching you that your body doesn't belong to you. It belongs to her ego. If you don't perform when she wants, she will make your life a living hell. Eventually, you start saying yes, even when you really don't want to, just to keep the peace. This is a form of coercion. You aren't doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you're afraid of the drama she'll create if you don't. She might also attack your masculinity. She'll tell you that you're less of a man, or hint that other guys would be lucky to have her. She wants to make you feel insecure about your own value. By making you feel small, she makes herself feel big. She wants you to believe that you are lucky she's even interested in you, so you should be grateful whenever she chooses you. It's a total flip of reality that keeps you in debt. If she can't get her way through anger, she'll use guilt. She'll act like her heart is broken and that you're rejecting her as a person. She'll make it all about her feelings, completely ignoring yours. You find yourself comforting her after she was the one who got mad at you. It's a mind game that leaves you exhausted. You end up giving in just to stop the crying or the shouting. She wins, and you lose your dignity. Over time, this destroys your own desire. You start to see intimacy as a chore or an obligation that you have to perform to keep the house quiet. The passion dies because it's forced. She doesn't care that you aren't enjoying it. She only cares that you're doing it. To her, your compliance is proof that she still owns you. It's a very dark and controlling way to handle a relationship, leaving you feeling trapped. 5. Using sex as a gaslighting tool. Have you ever been in the middle of a serious argument about something she did? Maybe she lied or disrespected you, and suddenly she starts being really affectionate. She might start wearing something sexy or trying to lead you to the bedroom. This isn't because she feels bad or wants to make up. It's a distraction. She's using sex to gaslight you into forgetting what the fight was even about. She wants to use pleasure to wipe your memory. If you go along with it, the conversation is over. The next morning, she acts like everything is perfect. If you try to bring up the problem again, she'll act shocked. She'll say, "But we were so close last night. Why are you trying to ruin things now?" She makes you feel like you are the crazy one for still being upset. She uses the intimacy as proof that the problem is solved, even though nothing was actually fixed. It's a way to avoid taking responsibility. She knows she messed up, but she doesn't want to apologize or change. So, she uses your physical attraction to her as a way to shut you up. It's a very effective move because it's hard to stay mad when you're being intimate. She counts on that. She uses your own biology to sabotage your boundaries. You end up feeling confused, like your brain is telling you one thing, but your body is doing another. This is a form of brainwashing. She is teaching you that as long as the sex is good, you aren't allowed to complain about her behavior. She frames your legitimate anger as negativity that is killing the romance. You start to feel like you have to choose between being happy and being right. Eventually, you just stop bringing up the lies and the cheating because you know she'll just use intimacy to bury the truth again. Observe how she only gets this affectionate when she's in trouble. When things are going her way, she might be cold or distant. But the second you catch her in a lie, she becomes the perfect lover again. This isn't love. It's a smoke screen. She is using her body to cover up her bad character. It's a very calculated move to keep you off balance. You can never get a straight answer out of her because she's always shifting the focus. This habit ruins your ability to resolve conflict. Problems just pile up under the rug until the rug is 10 feet high. You feel a growing resentment because you know you're being played. You realize that she isn't making love to you. She's making you forget. It's a hollow experience that leaves you feeling more disconnected in the long run. Real intimacy comes after a problem is solved, not as a way to hide from it. 6. Treating the partner as a decorative object. In the most private moments, you should feel like you are being seen for who you really are. But with a narcissistic woman, you'll notice that she isn't really looking at you. She's looking at herself through you. She's more worried about how she looks, how she's performing, or if you are giving her enough applause. You are just a prop in her one-woman show. You could be anyone. She just needs a body there to reflect her own supposed perfection. She might demand that you act a certain way, say certain things, or follow a script that makes her feel powerful. If you don't play your part right, she gets bored or annoyed. She doesn't care if you are actually enjoying it. She only cares about the ego boost she gets from being wanted. It's a very lonely experience to be with someone physically, but know that they don't actually see you. You are just a tool she uses to fall more in love with herself. The long-term consequence of this is that you start to feel invisible. Your own desires and feelings get buried because there's no room for them in her world. You stop feeling like a man and start feeling like an object. Your self-esteem takes a massive hit because you realize that your heart doesn't matter to her. Only your function does. It's a soul-crushing way to live, being treated like a piece of furniture that she uses whenever she feels like it. You might find yourself trying harder and harder to please her, thinking that if you just do it right, she'll finally see you, but she never will. To her, you are just a supply of attention. Once she's drained you, she'll go find someone else to use as a mirror. This objectification is why you feel so empty after being with her. There was no actual exchange of love. It was just her using you to fill the hole in her own ego. This behavior devalues the entire concept of intimacy. It becomes a performance rather than a connection. You find yourself acting along with her just to get it over with. The spark is gone because there's no truth in the room. You're both just playing roles in a fake story she created. It's an exhausting game that leaves you feeling sexually and emotionally hollow. You start to lose interest in being close to her at all. If you've been feeling like something is deeply wrong in your relationship, trust your gut. These patterns aren't just rough patches. They are the tools of a narcissistic woman who is using your heart to feed her ego. You aren't crazy, and you aren't a failure. You've just been caught in a game where the rules were hidden from you. Real intimacy is about safety, respect, and a two-way street of caring. It's not about rewards, punishments, or performances. You deserve to be in a relationship where you are seen as a person, not a prop. You deserve a partner who can say, "I'm sorry," without trying to hide behind a fake version of closeness. It takes a lot of courage to face the truth, but it's the only way to find your peace again. Hold on to your self-worth, set your boundaries, and remember that you are a whole person who deserves real, honest love. You have the power to walk away and build a life where you are truly valued. If you've watched until this point, thank you so much. If you'd like, please share your story in the comments below so we can connect and empathize with one another. Thank you, everyone.